Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are now on to May's bullet journal. So let's have a little look at what we have in store this month. May is my birthday month, and if you didn't already know, my favorite color is most definitely green. So we've gone for a green fern inspired spread this month, inspired by all of the woodland walks that I've been doing, and I love seeing all of those green ferns coming through. So we're going to go with a couple of different greens. I'll put the Tombow references that I'm using in the comments. As always, a standard black, my hexagon pencil, which is available to purchase online, and our gel pens, which I love, and these are refillable. I always use our monthly calendar stamps, which again, these little packs are available in our store online, and my ink pad. So let's have a look at the template we have for you this month. So as always, we've got the cover page with your spare. So this is in case you wanted to print this out on sticker paper. You don't have to write in all of the dates. You could use this as your own little calendar. Then we've got our week to view, very green. I love these when you're walking through the woods and you see the kind of curly ones. They haven't quite unfolded yet. So that's our weekly. And then a little nod every day, a little bit of green in our lives. Wednesday and Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday. And then you've got your habit tracker. It's looking almost like a jungle over there. And then we've got our mood tracker. So each leaf represents a day, and you're going to fill all of those leaves in depending on your mood key. I haven't actually put it on the template, but you know how we go. Good, okay, and not so good. Or you can add any other moods you want. Some titles, if you wanted to make your own spreads and use my titling, so that you can just use those. Again, print them onto sticker paper, use them as stickers, you can trace them, or you could even just cut them out and stick them into your journal or planner. Okay, so let me get my trusty sketchbook. All of our journals are available to purchase online, and let me tell you that the paper in here is 150 GSM, so you won't get any ghosting, like you can see from some of the past spreads that we've done. We've done quite a bit of work there, and there's nothing ghosting through on the other side. Even to the point of April, where we did some watercolour, but yet still no ghosting through. So I really recommend, obviously I'm biased because they're mine, but bullet journal, we've got dotted paper on each page, so it gives you a bit of free rein. So let's have a look. If you're with us on Patreon, we are working on May 2024. If you're joining us on YouTube, you are a year behind. That's only because our patrons get our exclusive content. And if you're interested in joining our Patreon group, follow the links down below. So let's have a look at the techniques we're going to be using for our ferns today. I'm just going to pick any green. It's going to be quite a straightforward one today because there's not a lot of different shapes, just the main one. So if you do like a thin line, a fern kind of branch, and then we're coming off from the base, we kind of just want to feather some stems, and these are going to get smaller as we come to the top, and that's going to build our fern leaf shape. You can extend on if you think you need. So that's our basic outline, if you will. Again, you can sketch this in pencil to give you a line, or you can go straight in pen. I'm now going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to create little tiny leaves on each of these stems, just by pressing the nib on this one. Pressing the nib as we go up. Those little leaf shapes are just going to get tapered in till we get to the top, and you could maybe do some little dots at the top, and then we're going to just do the same on the other side, dotting that in, and again tapering it to the top, and we're just going to keep doing that. Actually, I think I've spaced those out, but for the sake of the tutorial. Let's leave it spaced out. I would actually think this branch here should come a little bit closer in, just so it's, but to be honest, like you see the ferns, they've got all different kind of spacings, like each one is quite unique. And we're just filling in using that brush tip. If you don't have a brush tip, you could just almost like just draw your leaf shape on. And if you wanted to, you could just make them a bit squiggly. You could go in there and just do kind of lines if you wanted. And they, again, just as long as they kind of get smaller to the top and peter out. Peter out, is that a word? Is that correct? I think that's right. We're still on camera. Let's try zoom in a bit for you so you can see in a bit more detail. So this one I'll do just little brush strokes like that so you can see, and then on this one I'll do the pressing so you can see in more detail. I'm just putting pressure on so it gives you this kind of teardrop shape. And on the other side does make these perfect leaf shapes. And if you didn't have a brush pen, let me show you. I'll use the kind of felt tip pen side. So you would just almost like draw, I like to call them bow ties. So just draw those kind of leaf shapes. And again, taper it out to a point. And then as you get closer to the end, that all kind of tapers to a point as well. So that gives you a good idea. You can just really squiggle. I'm just going to really quickly squiggle those in. Gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. I mean, I can keep going. Let's keep going, because really this is what we're going to do throughout. Like I said, on my actual cover, I think I would do those branch shapes a little bit closer together. So what we'll do is we'll just pop a few more in there just to fill up the space. But really, that's it for today's tutorial. We can get straight in to the cover page. And it's May already. That means that's what, yeah, 5th, gosh. 5th month. And we're steamrollering through the year to the 2nd quarter. Am I still on camera? Let me move down here a bit for you. And if you're part of our journal club and you're doing regular journaling, you know that we kind of goal set and we add in kind of quarterly reviews. So I'm already thinking now today, like, where am I on my goal setting? Like, how far along am I? What do I need to do to keep in line with my goals? Because I just feel like the year's flying past and I'm not even having time to do things like that. We've got quite a lot of home improvement goals for just kind of making the house look a little bit more, just giving it a bit of a refresh, especially the garden after the winter. That needs a really good refresh. I was hoping to do it this weekend, but it didn't happen. I was working, so the weekend ran away with me. And we had a little bit of sun. It was a little bit dry, wasn't it? It was a bit dry. Dry enough to get the grass mowed. And this is the exciting stuff we talk about now we're grown-ups. What did you do at the weekend? I managed to mow the lawn. Gone are the days where went out, stayed out all night, stayed hungover for the whole day. Those tend not to happen, especially now I don't drink, so I very rarely obviously have hangovers since giving up alcohol, which I can highly recommend if it's something, if you're sober curious I can tell you, that's the way I started. I was trying to mindfully drink, so just, you know, being cautious, making sure that, you know, I was drinking because I wanted to, not because everybody else was. And then it just kind of happened that I started to feel more confident not drinking and started to notice better effects, especially with anxiety. I talk quite a lot about anxiety on Journal Club, and I really noticed a big difference when I gave up drinking to my anxiety levels for the next kind of days following a night out. So give it a go if you're curious. Just, you know, start. You don't have to commit to anything. That's what I did anyway. I didn't commit to being totally sober. I was just like, actually, I'm not going to drink for, I think it was 100 days was this challenge that me and a friend started. And that was the aim, was to get to 100 days. And then I just didn't really feel like I needed to drink after that. I didn't drink again. So you don't have to, I think sometimes when you say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing that, almost you rebel against yourself, don't you? You want it even more. So let's zoom out and see what all of that's created. Quite a nice kind of natural looking ferny shape. I mean, you could fill in more of the gaps, but I'm happy with that. You can really see how you can build different shapes and different colours using darker, if you've got a darker green look, you can start building quite a lot of texture and levels just with the colours. You can see that building there. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's get a fresh page. Okay, so a nice fresh page. As I would normally do, I use this as a template. So I do actually trace through just so I've got where the leaves are coming in, just so I keep the balance correct. But you can totally go freehand. We've just gone through how you make these fern leaves yourself. You can create them coming in at any angle. You could fill the whole page, whatever you fancy doing. But this is what I'll be sticking to for today. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a really faint line just to give an idea where the branches are coming up and where my titling is going to be. So I'm going to start with our biggest leaf in the corner here, and I'm going to use a slightly lighter shade of green for this one. So just as we did in the little tutorial, I'm going to draw in with my green pen stem line, and then I'm just going to draw in these kind of branches that come off, just to give me an idea of where I'm going. And then I'll probably speed it up because we know where we're going now with all of those little leaf details. So let's get all of these lines in. It doesn't really matter as long as you're following, as long as they taper in, kind of feather up. That's all we need. So I will speed you up and meet you on the side when I finish putting the extra little details in. Okay, so you can see how that kind of quite quickly built up, well, I say quickly, quickly when you speed it up, built into our first fern. Let's start with our second. So for this one, I'm going to go in with our darker colour, and that one's just going to kind of come up. And again, put in our stalks. This one's almost like one that's just emerging. so he's not fully unraveled yet, so not as bushy. And we'll add in our details and I'll come back to you when this one's finished. And over here we've got another bigger size fern. I think I'm going to keep this in a darker green because obviously the one down at the bottom is the lighter shade, so I'm going to do this one in the darker green. So this one's really similar to the one previously, so we're just going to do a stalk and then we've got our branches coming out either side just to give us an idea of where we're going. And then like we did on the other one, I will speed up the camera because we know now, don't we, how to do those little kind of leaf shapes. So on this one we're just going to taper these stalks all the way down to a point until we get to the top. There we go, I'll just put a few dots in there for that one. Okay, let's speed it up. So there we go, that one's done. I think as I look at it from above, I might just extend some of these just to give it a little bit more kind of shape over here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Happy with that. Okay, so let's zoom out and see the whole page where we're at. There we go, our kind of woodland fern. So we're going to add in our titling for May, just using the felt edge of my black Tombow. There we go. And then I'm going to use my monthly stamp. As I say, these are now back in stock and they come with an ink pad as well as the base and each of the months, the options there. Okay, I'm going to actually mix it in somehow with my Y because I want it to be closer up. I'm going to go about there, I think. There we go. There is our month of May, our fern inspired theme. I look forward to seeing what you guys get up to. Tag me as always, I love to see them, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Have a good month.